Hey, and we're back with another episode of Before You Buy. That show will give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. Today, we're talking about Mortal Kombat 1. NetherRealm is back at it again with another fighting game. No, to my sadness, it's not Injustice 3, but this is an all-new Mortal Kombat game. I mean, like, they've been doing this for a long time now, and so have we. And I kind of worry about running out of things to say with each of these games, but thankfully, Mortal Kombat 1 is nice and weird, in a good way. A couple of the normal housekeeping disclaimers up front though, this is just strictly first impressions. We did not get an early review copy, and this footage was captured on PlayStation 5. Yes, I've seen the memes out there about the Switch version looking like a mess. That seems to be a thing, so be warned. But we didn't test that version. This video is also spoiler-free, as spoiler-free as possible. I only show the first 3-ish chapters out of a 15-chapter story. Also, I may have to do some weird edits and cuts around some of the gore so our video doesn't get flagged or taken down. Some YouTubers have better luck with this, but we're not taking any chances. And I've said this many times before at this point, here at gameranx, we are not fighting game experts, mostly fun, casual fans. I've played almost every damn mainline Mortal Kombat game, and I love me some Shaolin monks, but I'm not heading to a tournament anytime soon, so take that for what you will. To the layman here, it is a fun game and provides pretty much exactly what you'd want with a Mortal Kombat game at this point. A cool new story, good characters, gore, a change up to the fighting while still managing to feel Mortal Kombat-y, and a handful of modes, some good, some whatever. Now, let's talk combat first. It is straightforward and fun. You're dialing in combos, you're getting over here, you're shooting magic, all that stuff. The combo breakers this time around feel better, and I had a better time pulling them off as a player who generally just isn't very good, like I said. Fatal blows are still pretty delicious and nasty and can turn the tide of battle, and what can really turn the tide of battle are the expanded aerial combos. When you can pull off a big combo in the air, it's really impressive. I still struggle with it, of course, but it is really cool to see in action, even if someone is using it against you. The focus really seems to be centered around simplicity here. You know, the art of the fight. You're not using weapons, you're switching stances, or even using stuff in the environment. You're not really kicking people through walls or feeding them to crocodiles, so be warned if you love that stuff. It's no frills here, it's just punching and gory good murder. Everything feels super tight and responsive, animations are cool as hell, and the meter burning system is just right, pretty much like last time. Not overly complicated, but with enough depth that you can seemingly play it pretty endlessly. Now, the big wrinkle this time around is the cameo system, which you may or may not have already heard of, but let me explain. Essentially, this is the first time a big Mortal Kombat game is doing a kind of secondary character tag-in type of fighting game mechanic. And it's pretty awesome. It takes some getting used to because it feels different than other games that have mechanics like this. And so far, it feels pretty awesome. It takes some time getting used to it because it feels different than other games that have mechanics even only sort of like this. So when you pick a character, you also pick a secondary cameo character. And with a trigger button in the battle, that character can hop in for a quick little attack or a trick, and there's a cooldown. There's a bit of depth to it, and different characters have different things. Close-up, ranged, and even some fast-paced like trickery. What I like about it is that it isn't a win button. You gotta be really smart about when to use it, and you have to actually pull it off. But when you do nail it, it can save your skin or continue a combo, and it can be fun. Plus, the animations of the characters hopping in and out to help are very slick and expressive. Some are very fast, super quick, like Kano, who kind of like almost pushes your character out of the way rudely. Some do cool little poses. I just really appreciate the small touches here. It also seems like potentially it might be good once you learn the ins and outs of the characters. Like if one of your mains has a bit of a weakness or a shortcoming, you can essentially maybe use a cameo character to have your back that has an attack that might really help you round out a bit more. Again, I'm not a high-level player, but it seems cool that all of them have expressly different capabilities. I think the only thing that might be a bummer here is the roster. I mean, like, no, the roster itself is pretty great with a lot of 3D era weirder characters showing up, but it means that classic characters like Sonya are relegated to being a cameo only, as far as I can tell, and I think that might bum some people out. Character roster lineups always change in these games, and it's fine, but it might feel weird to have your favorite character just out of arm's reach as just being a little side character thing. Still, with that being said, with what they actually set out to do here, I think they nailed the cameo system. But with the more complex stuff, of course, like the fine-tuning, which characters are nerfed, all that stuff is dependent on the hardcore community. Like, I can only say one thing as a casual fan. I think it's fun. But a lot of it comes down to how the hardcore Mortal Kombat community comes down on it, and I can't predict the weather there. Where I can speak confidently is a story mode, dude. NetherRealm just really knows how to do it at this point, like I said, but I always just really look forward to their story campaigns. Like their previous works, it isn't the longest, but it's challenging, it's compelling, it's fun, and mostly well-paced, except for the last third-ish where it gets weird. Now, the basic non-spoiler setup, I guess spoiler warning for Mortal Kombat 11, but yeah. Basically, the Mortal Kombat world from 9 to 11 is wrapped up. Liu Kang went Super Saiyan Fusion and is now Fire God Liu Kang, who, after killing Kronika, the Time Lord lady, ended up rewriting the universe with his new powers and essentially trying to make everything more peaceful. What this means is a complete remix. Characters, alliances, even abilities and origins are all completely changed up. Some enemies are now allies. Some characters show up in unexpected places, and in my opinion, it's really cool and refreshing. Yeah, I know, things were just shaken up with 9, technically, but that was still, at this point, many, many years ago, and what they do here is make a strange new world, somehow having more magic, more war, more disease, and more badass fighting dudes. It almost feels like a what-if comic book spin-off scenario, but a lot of characters are actually improved, or changed up at the very least respectfully. One or two may disappoint some people, depending on how you look at it, and Nitara's voice acting is rough. But overall, I think it's a win, especially because a lot of characters from what is kind of dubbed the 3D era get a lot of love here. I guess the logic here for them was like, hey, we've seen enough of Sonya and Jax at this point, especially recently, so let's dive into some of the weird freaks. And, I'm a big fan. Now, character designs are pretty incredible, but unfortunately, one place where they had to scale back was customization. It's very much pared down now. There are cool skins and color swaps, but it seems like each character only has typically one or two swappable items, like, say, just different face masks or Kenshi's cool sword. The screen also lets you select different unlockable taunts, and of course fatalities and that stuff, but if you're looking for bottom-up customization, like, new boots for Sub-Zero, you're not getting it with this one. At the very least, like I said, the characters do look gorgeous. Visually, at least where we played on PS5, it looks super solid overall and very detailed, especially the environments. Some of them are pretty jaw-dropping. The whole presentation is pretty nuts. So, along with this all, you have your classic towers with different lengths and difficulties to play through to get some good old-fashioned character ending things. Then you have this new invasion, which is kind of like the new Towers of Time or whatever equivalent. You're chessboarding your way through a Mortal Kombat board like a tabletop game, getting into special fights with special parameters and earning rewards. Basically, like always, this is a good way to keep playing. Apparently, this time around, it's going to be updated seasonally with more to play, and you don't pay for it, so that's good. From the menu, you can spend coins you earn through fighting and dump them into a magic dragon statue that then will fart out even more random rewards. It's pretty easy to understand, straightforward, simple earning stuff. It feels primed for microtransactions at some point, but at least they're keeping invasions and seasonal stuff free. And then there's also online modes, which I can confirm works, but that's about it because I can't stand the humiliation. There's multiple practice modes and options within, a place to view your unlockables, and a tutorial. Simple, standard fighting game stuff. The only other negative is that as of right now, there's no crossplay. But the offering here, you know, some modes, not a shit ton of modes, but just like a normal amount of modes, and the refreshed and simple combat feels like a fresh new foundation for the next few Mortal Kombat games moving forward. I feel like they can add a lot of cool, weird, interesting stuff on top of the framework here because it is solid, it is entertaining, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the series goes, especially obviously with the story here, of course, but just in general, I think this is fun. I think some of the character stuff is pretty mind-blowing, but otherwise it's another Mortal Kombat game. It is not bad. It's more of NetherRealm doing their thing, but this time it's a little brighter, it's a little weirder, and the characters are in different situations. Also, side note, I'm just excited to see Omni-Man and Homelander in this as like a character pack thing later on. The legs of Mortal Kombat games are always really exciting to see play out, so we're just gonna have to wait and see how that goes, but this is the base game as of right now. But this is a before you buy, of course, so we give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion. And now we want to hear yours down in the comments. Maybe you were like us, maybe you plunked down the extra cash for the early access period or whatever the hell it is, but maybe you're jumping in day one, maybe you're waiting for a sale, whoever you are, let's talk about this stuff. I want to hear your more nuanced or fine-tuned complaints if you have any, if you're a hardcore player, if you just like the lore and the stories. Let me know what you think of the character change-ups. There's a lot we can talk about, but really anything at all, let us know in the comments. And if this video helped you, just seeing gameplay, anything like that, informed your purchase, clicking the like button helps us. Thank you. But that's it. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
The High Mage is brought low.